How's everybody doing? It's the mighty, masterful Papacita, and I'm coming at you guys today with some Gun Club VR on the PS4. Now the game's been out for about 3 years. Came out I think September 2017, and it's usually about like 20-25 bucks in the store. It's on Windows and I think Oculus as well, but I'm playing on a PS4. But what makes the game so grand is it's arcadey, realistic, and just like action all put in one. The game has a lot of like realism elements to it, meaning you can't fire your weapon unless your slide's charged or your pulls. Anything. You gotta make sure your safety's off, your ammo's in the weapon, and you can even put like attachments and things on your weapon, customize it, different rails and all that, different lasers. Like the guns that they pretty much act just like their real life counterparts. Like this here D-Gal, like it looks pretty accurate for the most part. Pretty accurate, but there's only so much you can do in a game. But some of these weapons you can't get a hold on in real life, depending on where you live or whatever the situation may be. So being able to do it in the game makes it very hard. But multiple magnitude of weapons in this game. There's different types of modes for you to play, waste your time. But this game's got guns that people know about, like the Deagle, M1911, AKs. It's got guns nobody, unless you're like an aficionado, would know. At the same time, it's got grenade launchers, shotguns, SMGs, assault rifles, and almost every weapon in the game. It's got some type of attachment or like upgrade for it. And just about all of them, you can choose where you want to put them onto the corresponding spot on your weapon. So if you want to put a railing on the top, side mount rail, bottom, whatever, where you put flashlight, laser, yeah. There's a lot you can do, a lot of customization for your weapons in this game. But this right here is just the main little bit, the hub. Get you started and let you find out where to go. Now, the more of the modes you play, you're gonna unlock money, be able to get more upgrades and make your gun look all crazy like this bad Larry. But you gotta play the modes, might have to replay a couple of them, get a couple extra more bucks out. But basically, you start off with simple little shooting galleries like this. You shoot the targets and don't shoot any of the X's. You gotta try and do it as fast as you can, the least amount of shots, without hitting any of the X's. As you progress, they get harder. It starts getting a little bit more complex, I guess. Add more pillars or spinny circles. But it's always the same concept. Only shoot the bullseyes, not any of the X's. If there's no X's, just shoot all the bullseyes, nothing else. So it's a good little way to, get a feeling for the guns and what you can do and whatnot. But this mode right here is pretty grand. It's a little zombie mode. So, you're going up against zombies. And granted, they do walk pretty fucking slow at you. But it's grand. Shoot barrels, blow up multiples, or blow off arms, blow off head, whatever. But as you play, you gotta upgrade your weapon, obviously, and you can get more ammo in your clip, or magazine, whatever you want to call it, and so you don't have to reload as much, getting you potentially hurt over here. And then you can upgrade your weapon too, get fire and get so much. And you got little things like this where it's supposed to be like simulating, like kind of like in a movie with the action, even though it's very basic, but adds a little bit more for you to do while you're shooting at these folks. So once you get a little bit of money and you want to buy some upgrades, you come right back to this little hub and you go see your boy Jason Statham, and you're gonna tell him, say, I want these upgrades, I don't want them now. And that'll be the end of it. You get them. So you get all these upgrades, make your gun grand like I was just saying. You can get better bullets, so you do more damage. You can have incendiary rounds. You can put scopes, lasers. Of course, you need to have a rail mount for it. It's so much you can do for every different gun. And then once you get a little bit farther, you eventually can unlock the allied section, which means you're gonna be shooting yourself some Nazis. And it's primarily the the same kind of stuff you're doing. You know, just shoot them. If you see civilians, don't shoot them. If they have a hostage, kill the captive, not the hostage itself. You know, but it's great to see some of the different environments. Some of them in Europe, destroy buildings and stuff. You know, and who doesn't just like killing Nazis whenever you can? But there's a good amount to do with them too. You know, just like the other ones. It's a good range. So you get a good amount of content for only $20. But one of my favorite things to do is when you're playing the zombies, and as you progress farther, as you can see, you got to cross the nighttime one, where your flashlight is the only real way to kind of see anything. So you actually got to, you know, your point of view is what you can see, not much else. So it's pretty grand, you know, not the best, but it adds a little bit more excitement, especially if you're playing at night and dark. But this right here, my God, this is probably my favorite thing in the whole game. And as the name would imply, it's a sandbox. So you come here and you take your dump and you bury it with the but as you come here and you do whatever you please. If you want to put down 10 watermelons, you put down 10 watermelons. If you want to just shoot watermelons all day, you shoot watermelons all day. But there's numerous things you can put down. Boxes, there's different foods, you know, there's bricks, dishes, chairs, all the kind of stuff you essentially see in, you know, people shooting at galleries and stuff. You got the traditional targets, Nazis. Who doesn't love a good old Nazi to shoot? You know, there's so much you can do here. If you're creative, you can create whatever you want. You want to set up one of your shooting targets behind you and act like you're Annie Oakley? Do as you please. There's no stopping you in the sandbox mode. Granted, you probably can only put down, I don't know, like, what is it, 10 items at a time. So if you put down any more, it's gonna, you know, refresh. But it's so grand to come here, and you can just, whatever gun in the game you want. If you don't want to have to unlock it, you just want to fiddle faddle with it. If it's like your favorite gun in real life, you come here. You can practically spawn in any of the guns or the weapons in the game, and you can fiddle faddle with them to your heart's content. So definitely makes for fun. Like, you know, if you haven't held a certain type of weapon before, or if you've always wanted to see a certain military grade weapon up close, it's just so great. You can, you know, you see the bullet being chambered. You can see, you can take, but I get so excited. Especially when you put a scope on the gun and you look down the scope, you're like, by God, I'm hung. But see what I'm saying? Look, even the safety, if the safety's not disengaged, you can't fire your weapon. So the sandbox is definitely it's fun to, you know, you kind of got to make your own fun, obviously. So, you know, that's pretty grand. It's not too bad. Like, you can move around too. You're not just designated to be in one spot. But if you want to pull out a shotgun, look at that. You pull out a shotgun. And back to the realism aspect I was speaking of. Depending on the weapon, obviously, if it's like an M4 type weapon, if it has you can just put the box and load it like a normal, you know, traditional weapon. But if it's like a shotgun or like a lever action rifle, you got to put the shell in or put it in one by one like you do in real life. And shotgun, you got to make sure you pump, get that glorious sound every single time before you can actually discharge the weapon. So it adds a little bit of realism in it. So if you're not used to firing weapons in real life, sometimes you can get annoyed if you forget to, you know, cock or pull the slide, or just disengage the safety. But look, you pull up pretty much any gun you want in this game. It's so grand. Like, seeing this right here, this here Tommy gun. I've never seen one in my life, but all I know is this town ain't big enough. So you just spawn it in and you go to freaking town. And look, so it's reloading it. Although I'm pretty sure you can't put a drum round on this Tommy gun, unfortunately. But if you want to just pull out a little submachine gun, act like you're an OG, pull out a little Uzi. You can do that as well. Like I said, the sandbox, practically free to do whatever the fuck you want. It's probably the best feature in the whole game. Just like, you can take it very seriously, or you can just goof off like I do 90% of the time. It's not bad, but see, look, lever action rifle. You want to channel your inner John Marston. Look at that bad boy. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. There's nothing better than seeing that little whip back and forth. My God. Wild West. Look at that bad boy. Does sound very underwhelming, but it's very grand to be able to, Ooh, look at that. But see, like I was saying, the scopes and stuff, it looks much better when you're actually doing it yourself. Right here, it kind of looks like. But if you want to, channel your inner swamper, and if you want to snap, you can do it. And you can go to the range, set the target back even farther. Be very grand from afar. It's so grand. Like I was saying, the range, right inside of the range. Back to the aspect of spawning anything in. You can spawn in any of these guns you want, like the good old glorious AK-47. And you can also spawn in the attachments for shed weapon. So you can see all these different attachments ahead of us, grips, bayonets, bipods, whatever. Certain weapons have designated specific attachments only for that weapon. Like it could have a stock made for it. It could have, an extended mag only for that weapon. And then there's also a lot of these attachments that are universal, meaning they can go on any applicable weapon. So, things like different rails and things, obviously those are pretty universal. As long as the gun has a rail slide on it, you can put that bad boy on it. You see, you got all these suppressors and all that, but if you want it on a gun, the weapon rather, you just spawn it in. You pick it up and you can fiddle faddle, put it on your weapon where you want. You want it to be, you want your sight farther back, and you want your laser up close to the barrel. You want to slide it, whatever you can do. You can set it up like you do in real life. You want to adjust your weapon stock, pull it out a little bit if you're using a marksman rifle or a sniper rifle. If you're using one of these ARs and you just want to take the stock completely off some weapons, you can do it. It's like I said, a lot of little bit of realism, and you notice a lot of the fine details. Especially if you've been around some of these weapons before, or you've seen them, or even if you just what you think you know about them from movies and whatnot, and how they're supposed to act and look and what they do. It's pretty good. Just take any of these weapons in the game, and you can just look at it before your own eyes, and it's grand to see, because some of these weapons, like I said, you can't get your hands on, or let alone ever be able to actually fire them. So for the people that can't actually experience those, this game is very perfect for that. And it's, like I said, the details. One of the main things I like is being able to see your round being chambered, or disengaging your safety, turning on and off your lasers, choosing the color, things like that. It's like, it's just the detail of it. It's what shocked me, because I was like, oh, it's only like a $20 game. It's going to be pish. But it doesn't have the best graphics, obviously, but that's not the point of this game. It's more the gameplay and the feeling of it. Like, look at this. I pull out a street sweeper because I want to be Terry Crews expendable. Look, loading in each shell individually, one by one. And I even pulled the stock out, extended the stock back. See what I'm talking about? Look, disengage the safety. You gotta charge that bad boy, don't you? Oh, see what I'm saying? Look at that. It's just it's so great. I've never seen one of these in my life, let alone shot one. And look at me go to work. But you see, you can choose. You can move the targets up, back. It's even got old school traditional weapons like the M1 Garand. Listen to this. That traditional ping doesn't sound. It never gets old. And you gotta reload it traditionally, obviously. Look at it, just like corresponds like it's supposed to. And it sounds very meaty, and here's that ping. So, I would definitely recommend picking this game up, especially if it's on sale, because I bought it for like $20, and for $25, you can't go wrong with the amount of content in this game. Remember, I'm the Papacita.